Okay, we're in our garden this morning. We're going to show you how we plant our vegetable plants. As you can see from our garden, one of the first things we do before we ever plant all of our stakes or cages, or in our case, it's a stake-a-cage, which is simply a stake with some wire mesh attached to it. We make them ourselves. We put those in place before we ever plant our garden. That's critical to do that because when you're putting them in later on, it's easy to damage the plant roots, and it's also easy to compress the roots around the vegetables. So once we have our stakes in, we just take a simple post hole digger. We come right in line of the raised row garden, and we go down, we take it out, weave it, and it pulls out a perfect plug. That's one of the reasons we really love the post hole digger. It brings out a perfect plug for the garden and leaves you a great hole for planting right in there and makes it very, very simple. So we have that. We have one already plugged out here so we can kind of show you a little quicker. Now we do one thing. We put in a mixture of eggshells, worm compost, compost and worm castings, along with some coffee grounds in every planting hole. A couple teaspoons of castings, a couple teaspoons of coffee grounds, and a handful of compost, and about 2 crushed eggshells in every hole. The eggshells help provide calcium to the tomatoes, which helps to end black rot, or I guess prevent black rot. So we take our transplant, put it down the hole. We'll take a little of the soil that was in the hole, come back in, and I'll mix in that mixture of eggshells, coffee grounds, and worm castings along with the compost. Sit it down. We plant ours deep. We usually go down to that first set of leaves, make sure it's pretty deep. We go around and we put that soil right around it. Now when we're done with that, we come back on top and we'll put a couple more of the worm castings. You see this right here. Great all-purpose fertilizer when we'll kind of mix it into the soil. What that does is every time it rains or we water, it provides a lot of nutrients to the plant. It's like a natural fertilizer built in. Then we'll come back and put about 1 inch of compost around this, about 8 inches around. And then as you can see, once everything's planted in the garden, we then cover it with straw and keeps it weed free. So that's how we plant. Only takes about 30 or 40 minutes to plant our garden, which is pretty nice when you consider it's 40 by 60 and holds about 80 to 100 tomato and pepper plants along with our other stuff. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope that helps. Happy gardening.